Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, y'all, wherever y'all are hanging out from and calling in from. I am super excited to be with you today. Let me open up the group so that we can get this activated and get our conversation going because oops, let me turn me down because I don't really want to hear me. So anyway, how is everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. I am so excited for what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about breaking patterns and letting go of old identities. As we are shifting into a new consciousness, a higher level of leadership, it is going to be imperative that you allow yourself opportunity to release some of the old identities that you have been attached to or others have imposed upon you. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to pose a question for all of you as you are watching or tuning in later. And the first question is really, who would you be if you stopped listening to who everyone else thinks you should be? And so if you're jumping on, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let me know that you are here because, again, for some reason, I can't always see who's on. So drop a note in the chat. Just say hello. Let me know you are here. I always like to know who's engaging live. And for those of you that are watching later, let me know and just say replay and let us know that you're in there too. Because as you guys comment, as you're sharing your own thoughts and insights, I either want to be able to respond here as we're live, or I want to come back and be able to answer those things as well. So if you are here, say hello. Again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from and what time of day it is for you. And we are talking about how to break patterns and letting go of old identities. And so when we think about, hey, Jimenez, how are you, my friend? Oh, I'm so good to see you. I want to talk about the fact that as we are shifting, as we are experiencing more awakening, more expansion, more enlightenment, it is absolutely critical and imperative that we start to look at old identities that no longer serve. And so many of us have taken on roles, responsibilities, identities that have been given to us by other people's expectations, by other people shoulding. Good morning, Victoria. Welcome. Love it. I got some Texas folks in the house. So it is wonderful to have y'all here. But let's talk about what that looks like. And so what prompted this discussion is, many of you know, I have a pretty deep spiritual practice in the morning where I do a lot of work in a couple of my favorite reads, one of them being the Book of Awakening, where there is a daily passage that really is a way to offer some opportunity to reflect and lean into some things that maybe we take for granted or things we don't give ourselves pause to think about. The other thing that I spend time in is the Tao Te Ching and A Course in Miracles. And so what happened was there was an opportunity as I was reading something last week that inspired me to start to think about, let's talk about shifting and releasing those old identities. Because as we step into this new place, as we are really raising our vibration, we are shifting the frequency, we're shifting the consciousness, we're raising our own level of leadership. What got us here may not necessarily be what we need to get us to the next levels. And so some of you may already be experiencing this. You may experience that there have been people that have sort of gone away, that are falling off, that maybe there's things in your business that is changing, things in your networks that's changing. The more you lean in to the inner work, the more you lean into who you are becoming. And we are on a constant journey and path for evolution. We've never arrived. When we've arrived, our work that has been contracted or called to us for our time on this planet is done. And it's the next turn of what needs to happen. And so we've all come into this world. And many of you may have saw what I posted yesterday, that we all are called. Many are not listening to the call, but we are all called. We are here on purpose. There is no accident. There's no coincidence that your being, your presence in this moment on the planet at this time, with everything that's moving and expanding and shifting, there is no accident that you are here right now. We have all signed soul contracts or signed a path that says, this is the gifts we've been given. Because if you remember what I've talked about, I think it was on the last call, I talked about how your gifts are not yours. Your gifts have actually been given to you to share in some capacity in the world. And that is your calling. That is your purpose, is to put those gifts, to put that song, to put that work, whether it be in your family, in your community, globally, whatever it is that you're called to do in terms of how you activate and amplify those gifts. It's so that you're serving and sharing them with those that need it. And so that's part of the agreement that we've created coming into this life. And so when you think about you being here with everything that's happening, everything that's expanding and shifting and the awakening that's coming through, there is a divine reason that you are here. And when we understand that, you are already being called. Now, the question is, are you slowing down? Are you creating the stillness? Are you leaning in to hear the whisper of what that calling actually is? And so I say that because we have been living in some old versions of who we are, in identities that have either continued to keep us separated, or they're continuing to keep us playing in a space that's small, where we shrink and we're dimming our light. And we're doing it because it's what other people expect or should all over us. And so the question I want you to think about as we engage in this conversation today is, who would you be if you stop listening to who everyone else thinks you should be? Think about that for a minute. If you stop doing what everybody else thinks you're supposed to do, if you stop trying to please everyone, if you stop trying to hit the expectations of what every person thinks you're supposed to be, and allowed yourself to really dial into the who you truly are, how would that change things? What would shift? What identities would have to fall away? Because here's the thing, we can kill ourselves trying to please everyone else. And I love the way that Oprah calls it the disease to please, right? People are going to judge you. People have expectations, and all of that is a projection on what they're not facing for themselves. It's a projection of where their fear has taken over. It's a projection of where they feel separate or uneasy or uncomfortable, that they are then putting that out on you and creating an expectation that says, this is who you are. And many times we're like the little monkey that claps its hands together, or we're like the little seal that jumps to the hoops at the circus, right? We want to appease that. We want to honor that. We want to make sure that we don't upset anybody, that we don't rock the boat, that we please, that people are happy with us. When the thing is we can do all that and they can still be disappointed, because that has nothing to do with you. Again, that has to do with the state of where they're currently at and what they're projecting out. We have a truer vision and purpose and mission that is being called through us. Oh, I love that, Victoria. So I want you to think about that for a moment. I want you to think about, are you honoring your deepest soul's purpose? And I'm going to be I'm actually putting together a way that we can awaken our soul purpose as a mini virtual retreat for us to do some deep work in soul play and soul food, and a way to really access what it is. What's that inner voice that's trying to come through you? What is it trying to say? What is it showing you? What does it want to be expressed? Because when you allow yourself the space to realize that your highest priority, your moral obligation, your calling is to honor your soul's purpose first, and to release yourself from the tethering and the anchors and the handcuffs that others have put on you, that you have allowed, of what they expect you to be. Because here's the thing, I have several of you on the call right now. I could line you all up and say, tell me who I am. Like, you would all describe me. And while there may be some common things, you all would have a very definition of who you think I am and who you think I should be. I can sit here and make myself, try to bend myself into a pretzel to appease all of you, or I can bring myself into a space that says, I know who I am. And so I say this because one of the things I want to do is I want to offer you this passage out of the Book of Awakening that actually prompted me to have this conversation. And so here, I want you to just listen for a moment. And by the way, if you do not have this book, I highly, highly recommend it. It's from Mark Nepo. You can see it gets a lot of wear and tear. The whole binding's bent because every day there's a passage. And this is my second year going through this. And it's crazy because sometimes I'll be like, ooh, I remember that passage. Yet it has a very different connotation based on the growth and the evolution that I've created for myself. And so this was actually May 20th. So this was last week that I read this passage and was like, yes, we need to talk about how to release ourselves from those old identities. And so here's how the passage starts. Breaking patterns. If I contradict myself, I contradict myself. I contain multitudes. Walt Whitman. We create patterns that others depend on. And then the last thing we ever imagine happens. We grow and we change. And then to stay vital, we must break the patterns we created. I want to read that again. We create patterns that others depend on. And then the last thing we ever imagine happens. We grow and we change. And then to stay vital, we must break the patterns we created. There is no blame or fault in this. It is commonplace in nature. Watch the ocean and the shore do the dance of build up and crumble, and you'll see this happen daily. We know we are close to this threshold when we hear someone say, "You're not yourself," or "That was out of character for you." What is difficult at this juncture is to resist either complying with how others see us or withholding who we really are. It's that dimming your light and playing small because we are stepping out of those patterns and what others expect. The challenge, which I don't do well, but stay committed to, is to say to those with love, I am more than I have shown you and more than you are willing to see. Let's work our love and know each other more fully. Think about that. Think about having permission to say, I am more than I have shown you and more than you are willing to see. Because one of the things we need to realize as we start to shed those identities is that the capacity people have to receive the value and the light with which we have been given when it is playing or being shined at its highest and greatest capacity, that there are people that will no longer have capacity to receive that. There are people that I want you to think about, do they have capacity to receive you in your fullness? Do they have the capacity to receive you as you are growing into the next evolution of who you are becoming? Do they have capacity to see you for who you truly are? And there is no blame in this. People grow in different capacities. And sometimes you step away only to find yourself coming back at a different point. Other times you step away because, again, there are people that show up for a reason, season, and a lifetime. Not everybody is here for the long haul. We create social and spiritual contracts with each other because there are people that show up to help push us into the next level of who we're becoming. And it's only when we recognize that we need to stay non-attached. It's not around staying detached. Detached means I give up, I'm out, I'm just over it, we can't be connected anymore. Where non-attachment says, I see that perhaps our paths are going on different paths. And while I can love you, I don't have to be in a space of constant engagement and interaction with you, because at this point, I realize you don't have capacity to receive me for who I'm becoming. That I need to let go of that old pattern or that old identity for how we were connected. And no blame to either one of us. There's no shame in that. There's just a releasing and an untethering that says, I bless you as you go downstream and I'm going to have to go upstream. And it's just a parting of ways that at some point you may find yourself coming back together, or it's just sending each other with love and grace and peace, knowing you fulfilled whatever contract that was for whatever it needed to be. And so when you get into that space, it's that space to say, I am more than I have shown you and more than you are willing to see. I am more than I've shown you because I am now seeing things in myself I didn't even know before. So how could I possibly have shown that to you when I am only just uncovering that next layer of truth for myself? I am then allowing us to have an opportunity to let us work our love and know each other more fully. And so this becomes an awareness meditation. As you move through your interactions today, notice whether you are complying with how others see you or withholding who you are in any capacity. And I just posted this morning that today, let today be the day that you rise and shine. Let today be the day that you decide I am no longer available for playing small, for shrinking, or for dimming my light in any capacity. I'm no longer available for that. Today is the day that I choose to rise up, that I choose to expand who I am to where there is no edges. I allow myself to take up space. This is something for me that just even recently has been something that has opened up and is something that is challenging me. I did not realize how much I have fear around letting myself be seen in my fullness and in my capacity to take up space. I have a big personality. I have a big energy, and I know that. And there's been a part of me that's wanted to rein that in, that's wanted to shrink, that's wanted to hold that back. And I am being challenged both by some of my teachers around me who see me and are helping me evolve into that next version of who I am, because I'm on a constant evolution as well. And it's why you're seeing more deeper, vulnerable, personal ways to connect and share lessons and strategy and wisdom and knowledge in my experiences, because I'm being called that others need to feel that on that level, which means then I need to allow myself to be seen, that I need to allow others to witness who I'm choosing to become. And I need to allow myself to take up space. And so how many of you can relate to that? How many of you can feel that push, that, I don't even want to call it push, that energy being called through you, that it's time for you to be seen, that it's time for your voice to be activated and amplified, that it's time for your soul's purpose to be your soul purpose? How many of you are feeling like something bigger is moving through you, that it's being called right now? Some of you, that's the reason why you're here in this group. It's the reason why we're in this community, is because you're feeling that charge, that pull, that desire to allow yourself to be seen on a whole new level, to allow your voice to activate the shifts that you desire. And you are feeling that energy of wanting and needing to take up space and be okay with it. And there are going to be people that makes uneasy. There are going to be people that are going to be uncomfortable, and already probably are. And there are going to be people that don't have capacity to receive you on that level. And you can still love them and realize you cannot love on them, because the people that need you, that can receive you in that capacity, are waiting for you. And so I say that because we get really caught up in, oh my. And so for example, one of the identities I have been working through to release is this identity of me being that powerhouse, me being this badass, kick ass, take names, know how to get it done kind of person, which has been an identity I've carried for most of my life. And it's come out of a place of a need to survive and a need to take care of those around me when others couldn't. And so that energy, that powerhouse, I love her. I love who she needed to be to get here. And it's time for me to release that identity. That identity no longer serves me. There's a softening. There's an opening to grace that I'm going to lean into and talk about more as we do this work together. There's an opening to grace that's evolving. There is a space where I am learning how, as someone who has very much fine-tuned my masculine energy, I am learning how to open up my divine feminine energy, whatever that looks like. It looks different for everyone, and everyone, male or female, has that. The world right now is asking. And for those of you that have been doing maybe the Alicia Keys and Deepak Chopra 21-day meditation around how to access more of the divine feminine, if you haven't started, it's available till June 30th. I highly recommend, male or female, that you listen to it. It has been wildly powerful, and it is taking the whole concept of divine feminine into a very different context than what we've been schooled on or what we've been taught. And so I say that because this is our opportunity for us to awaken in the softening of who we truly are in our inner voice, in our calling, in our soul's purpose. The only way we can activate our truth, express our voice in its capacity, and to allow our soul purpose to be our soul purpose is to allow ourselves to get into that deeper, nurturing, softening space. And again, this looks different for everybody. So for me, I've had to let go of that identity. Hey, Valerie, that identity around who I had to be that powerhouse, to be that get it done kind of girl, to go out there and kick ass and take names and like push and pull and make it happen. When now I'm learning how to become a person that receives and surrenders. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is a place of allowing myself to tap into some of that love that people used to say I had too much of, and allowing myself to lead from a deeper place from my soul's purpose. And so I offer that to all of you because there's a couple questions I want you to think about. Where are you contradicting your true self? Where are you feeling that contraction of energy? Where are you feeling that space that feels like it's out of congruence? It's not aligned with what's really calling from you in the whispers of your soul's knowing. When you get into that space that says, if I really lean in and listen to who I am, this feels so out of, when people say that's not you, you're right. You're like, you're right. It's not. I'm not that person anymore. So where are you contradicting your true self in your life right now? Who is it you're choosing to become? We have free will. We get to choose our next level. We get to decide, are we hearing the calling? And again, everyone is being called. Only a few are choosing to listen. So are you choosing to listen to what's being called through you? Are you choosing to listen to your soul's purpose get bigger and louder and be more present so that your soul's purpose becomes your soul purpose? Are you allowing yourself to trust and lean into your inner intuition and inner knowing? Are you choosing to become the person that you signed a soul contract for when you entered this world? Are you choosing to become the person that's needed with the reason that you're here on this earth at this moment? It's not by accident. There's a reason. There's gifts you have to offer the world, and the world may be just your family. It might be your community. It might be, you don't know. But are you activating those gifts at their highest and best capacity for where you're at right now? Are you living your soul's truth? And the last question I want you to think about is, what stories and old identities do you need to release as you're choosing to become that next level of who you truly are? As you are continuing to awaken, as you are becoming enlightened in the knowing of what's residing in your soul, what's being called through you, what do you need to release? Because you can't be in two places at the same time. You can't be a people pleaser and be a powerhouse and be a go get it done ass kicker when what's being called through says, I need you to be softer and gentler, and I need you to nurture, and I need you to teach people from a different perspective, and I need you to allow your own vulnerability to be your teacher and guide as you help others navigate and walk through their own path as well. This is just what's showing up for me. So you're going to see some things shift that I have had people say, wow, I don't know what's happened to you, but you're not the same. To which my response from a deep loving space is, you're right. I'm not who you thought I was, and I'm becoming a new version or an expanded version of who I've always been. And I'm choosing to step more into who I've always been all along, because many of us, it's not even about opening up something new. It's not about learning something new. It's about a deep remembering that brings you back that when you arrived in this world as a baby, you knew who you were. When you arrived in this world, you knew who you were. And we have allowed other people's stories, expectations, fears, projections, conditioning, programming to dumb us down or to take us out of remembering that space. And so this is your opportunity to remember. This is your opportunity to ask yourself, what is being called through me? How do I connect to my highest and best capacity through my soul's purpose, through the light that wants to shine forth? And how do I make that the priority, that I'm honoring that first, always? And for those that need to fall away, they will. I mean, my email list recently has just been dropping. It's okay. It's okay. Those people are saying, I don't have capacity to receive you in that level. Great. I love them deeply, and they're making room for those that do. And if my group gets smaller and smaller, then those are the people that are willing to take action and be activated into the next level of awakening and expansion that's coming through. And so I say that because I will be introducing a way for some of you that want to go deeper, who want to step in and awaken that soul's purpose, awaken your voice in a way that allows you to start to connect to knowing what that is. Because some of you have gotten so far off track that the idea of remembering who you really are feels like a daunting task. So I am setting up a way to help guide you through remembering, to guide you through how to connect into your soul's purpose so that you can start to align your life to make that your soul purpose. So questions, thoughts, I wanted to just bring some light to that. As we have an opportunity, things are being called through us right now. And I'm going to ask you, are you listening to what's being called? Or are you trying to pretend you don't hear it and ignore it? Or do you have too many barriers and things in your way that you can't even hear that whisper? If any of that is resonating for you, then let's start to peel back the layers. Let's start to take the veil off. Let's start to rise above the illusion and the fear and the things that have been holding us back, because now is the time for us to rise, to expand, to awaken, to activate, to amplify, and to shine. And so I hope that gives you a little nudge today to shine your light brightly, to make the choice that today is the day that I stop shrinking, that I stop playing small, that I stop dimming my light in any capacity. Today is the day I choose to step into remembering who I am and who I am becoming. And I allow myself to rise up, expand until there are no edges, and allow myself to shine brightly. So with that, everybody, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you all for being here. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments, questions, insights that start to show up as you're leaning into what I just put forth. There's activation in what I just said with you if you want to sit with this. So give yourself space to ask those questions and honor your soul's purpose first. I love y'all. I will catch up with you later. We have another live on Thursday. I will see you all then. Bye, everyone.